Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on February 28th, 2025 at approximately 4:24 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's journey to remind people that living and that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the exact same philosophies that I personally utilize to gauge virtually every decision I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have worked for literally thousands of other people over the years, depending on their own personal effort, with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, there's been a lot of reasons we're back in the office today. And as such, yes, I'm going to end up moving around. There are a lot of reasons I haven't been here the last couple of weeks. Technical problems, stray, health-induced stress health complications induced by said stress, and a whole lot of planning that had to take place. Now, whether I'm going to have anybody in the room or not, well, I know I've got somebody in the room. Okay, primarily because, well, I'm here. I know I gauge as being in here because I do occupy one room so I can keep an eye on what's going on. But let's get down to business, shall we? Number one, decades back. Joe Stewart, how you doing? Glad you could join us, and you are in with the gold. Sorry about the delays. The unfortunate part there, Joe, is that my life took some, shall we say, annoying turns. But before you jump on that question, no, I am not. The relationship is not in jeopardy. Just about everything else in my life is. But I have come to a number of conclusions that I've had to work through. So let's start with the obvious issue. Okay, let's see if I can actually get the names right. Whoop. Minimize that. I'm just minimizing extra things that don't require on the desk. And let's find the pad of paper that I've got that I require. Where is it? I require that one up. That way I can see what's going on. Now, as we all know, I do work with a list method. Okay, pen. So we're going to keep that moving, and we're going to walk you through what's going on while we're at it. A day in the office. So, I am working on there's a number of books I'm working on, as you know. One of the biggest things that I have to take care of. Yeah, hopefully not there, Joe. Tech and I do not get along. This has been proven to be an absolute reality. Storm and I went through the computer the other day, got a number of things sorted out, found out what the drag time was. Okay, that was, and this didn't make a lot of sense to me, but it might make it to you. My Wi-Fi was trying to steal my Ethernet. We got that sorted out, just about lost the mic, but we managed to get the whole 9 yards worked out. Seems to be running fine. Now, okay, we've got that going now. Now, as I've mentioned, okay, you desire your life to turn around. Well, I'm walking you through turning mine around. Let's see here. Can I do this? Who knows? Okay. Now, one of the tasks I'm facing is how to rekindle the energy in Inner Voice Enterprises, my company that's been in existence since 2007. Sorry, 2009? No, 2007. In 2009, I started doing the online horoscopes for another company. And until tonight, okay, like literally tonight is the end of the contract. They've already got everything in. I've already been paid for it. Contract ended on a really positive note, humanitarily speaking. Very, very disappointing for it to be over. I mean, let's face it was a 16-year run. But with this in mind, it is time to push Inner Voice into the spotlight and make it work. So what I'm doing here is literally walking you through exactly what I'm doing. Now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a six-shelf bookshelf here if you count the top shelf. Okay. I've got some more bins over on this side. And I realize you can't see them. But what I did, we've got to remove all of the clutter, all of the things out of the way. Now, where are we here? Oh, let's bring that up, shall we? There. Okay. Positive perspectives. Unfortunately, February and March did not come out. However, April, I'm literally in the middle of putting together. Now, if I go up here, where the heck is it? There we go. Now, a couple of things included in positive perspectives, and maybe I'll back up a little here. I got a lot of things going on in my head. That's the easy part. It's trying to sort them out that becomes the difficult one. But I require that. Here we go. And Joe is just going at 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. He goes, last night was rather interesting. At 9:15 Eastern my time, upstairs in the bedroom, I heard an old man's voice. Hey, let's just say it was loud enough to get my attention. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, I had a situation years ago where my downstairs tenant and I heard the same thing. It brought us both to the stairwell because we heard the door slam. There was a door at the basement between us. And both of us heard the door slam at the same time. So we both met in the stairwell trying to figure out what went on. So I understand entirely what you mean by things being noisy. Now, included in April's positive perspectives, I do have the basic, as was asked. One of the things included there is a synopsis of the anatomy of a home. Okay, that booklet is in the process of being written. As a matter of fact, I was working on it just yesterday. Today was a little scrambled. Now we're back on track, I hope. Okay, and again, any of the books that I do have available, okay, check the link at the top of the stream, the Buy Me a Coffee link, www.buymeacoffee.com/InnerVoiceJ. Okay, now with that in mind, okay, any of the books, any of the consulting that you're looking for, absolutely the door is now open. Okay, what's this all about? It's about building something I designed decades ago. Now, I am curious if I've got it in here. I know I'm looking for. Don't know if I'm going to find it. That should be the wrong one. Yep, that's not the one I want. I'm over at the filing cabinet right now, by the way. What is that? That won't be it. Okay, it tells me what that was. Got a number of different dual tanks. I'm still a dinosaur in case you didn't recall. Okay, not there. So we walk over here and see what we got. Yeah, you can see me here. And okay, the one duotang I'm looking for is in here. So I will probably have to redesign. I'm doing that with a lot of things. But as I pointed out in the in the booklet, in the anatomy of a home. By the way, anatomy of a home, anatomy of an office, same thing. Okay. So, well, that was intriguing. What do we got going on? Let's shrink that down. And anyway, that's beside the point. I'm going to putter and babble simply because of the fact that, well, it helps me think a little better. Anyway, the brain of your home, of your office, is of your house, is the office. Okay, whether it's your home or your business. So, top corner here, I've got all of these shelves organized completely. I've got my blue bins over here, which I know you can't see. I realize that. Okay, but they're organized. They've now got all my painting. I've got, what are we? 5. I gotta check that just on principle. I keep calling it 15 feet, and I don't think it quite is. So, first rule of thumb. Let's see how much room I actually have here. As in, how long is my actual office desk? Okay, that's 8 feet of actual desk. But, on top of that, you count the rest of it, yeah, we've actually got about 12 and a half feet. Okay, including the portion of the closet that has to be kept there. Okay, but that's where my filing cabinet is, and my entire inventory shelf is there. So, I wonder if I should do that. No, it's probably too much of a. Well, maybe we should. Why don't we do that? We go back to where is Facebook? Whoop. That is not what I require. Let's bring this up and see what we can do about getting the other. See if we can let people know we're here. Of course, it's always entertaining in my eyes trying to piece things together. So let's see what comes up. Pump that. And we go. Copy. And from there we go back to Facebook. Yes, I'm puttering around on the computer, which is not a real strong suit of mine yet. It's going to be. I have no option, no functional option, but to make it work. Okay. Would you mind kicking in? There we are. Okay, let's not bother looking at that because that's just going to set us off. Here we are, a day in the office 8. And we go paste. And there we are. And we grab that. Whoop. And highlight that whole thing. Copy. This is what happens when I'm working and I'm just literally working on the computer. This is why I don't work on the computer much to start with. Okay, not while I'm on air anyway, because it takes up too much concentration on my part. Whoop. That is LinkedIn. Did that put me in where I belong? That would be the theory. So we paste that into LinkedIn. Post it. These are the only 3 sites I'm actually functionally active on yet, but I am very open to the idea of opening up on others. Okay. It just boils down to if anybody's got suggestions as to what is workable. I can no longer afford to sit back and do nothing. Okay, now, back in 2007, I started Inner Voice Enterprises. Okay, now what I've done is I am now forced into a situation because the contract I had that was paying a little, okay, has just ended. Therefore, I desire to get ahead. I don't know about you, but I'm not waiting anymore. So that should draw a little bit of attention. I've just let people know on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook that we are currently live. We'll see how that works. Now let's go back to here. And where are we? Okay, now the office had to be sorted out. So now this entire shelving unit, which is, well, realistically, the desk itself is 10 feet long. All of it's been cleared off. Now, why do that? Well, here's the thing. If your office is a disaster, you've got a problem. The mind won't work properly. You won't be able to think properly. You won't be able to process information properly, and you'll wear yourself out. You don't have to take my word for it. Okay? As a matter of fact, it's best you do your own research. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, what is working. So, where is my list? This little list works like an absolute charm. And yes, in what I am now dealing with as believe in your success and follow your dreams, my success is going to take this little operation, which is essentially a one-person operation. However, let us understand, I actually have, let me see, that are on the books in my end and are being moved into an actual book folder today. Okay, into an actual business folder today. What do we got? Philip Blair, you're in with the silver. How you doing? Okay, I will, quite frankly, unless somebody does something really weird with the laws behind a board of directors, and I will never have a board of directors. Anything that offers somebody the opportunity to take my company from me or take my goals and derail them is no longer part of what I'm working with. Okay, I do, however, have a board of advisors. Now, understand the board of advisors are the people that I trust, and rest assured that is a number that has shrank drastically. Okay, but on my board of advisors, my executive assistant is also my fiance. Okay, now she's been my executive assistant way longer than she's been my fiance. Okay, that would be Kira. Okay, and if you've seen me on the air in just the last couple of months, she's been on the air a couple of times with me. Nope, I will never have a board of directors, Philip, and here's why. A board of directors has the right to fire the owner. This gets done literally hundreds, if not thousands of times, where somebody puts in a board of directors to help run the company. Okay, I don't trust people enough for that, frankly. Okay, and it's really sad. I've literally had to just, I'm in the middle of writing a disconnect letter from my own family because it doesn't work well. Now, a board of advisors is just that. I ask them questions. They go, okay, I can deal with this, or here's a suggestion as to how to deal with it. Now, Kira is my number one. She's my fiance. She's not going anywhere. Okay. And she is also my executive assistant, which means once we get her moved up here, she will be handed the keys to the empire and told, we need something to make it to happen. I will trust you to make the adjustments necessary. Second member of the board of advisors is my very good friend Philip. Okay, now I've mentioned him a couple of times. You've never met him, and I doubt you'll ever see him on here. I wouldn't bet on it. Okay. I just caught what you did there, Philip. My apologies. A board of directors. People probably will get that because they'll probably get bored with it. And he spelled it Bored. Okay. Thing is, my mind will go 15 different directions at once. There's no slowing that down. Now, Phil has a phenomenal mind where it comes to tactical maneuverability. And I've known him for, at this point, 27 years. Again, not a real big chance of him going anywhere. He runs into a problem, he comes to my place. I run into a problem, I go to his. So we start with that. Okay. Then we have Storm, who also runs the back end. He runs all the technical for me. He's the one person I give access to my computer. Okay. He's the one that I turn around and go, okay, I've got a problem. I am not tech savvy. So I turn around and turn it over to Storm. Storm will go in, straighten out any problem I've got. And he's actually the one that figured out what the problem was with my computer. As in the Wi-Fi was trying to steal from the internet, from the Ethernet. Don't ask me how it works. He got it sorted out. That's all that matters. Now, then we have LA Moon. Okay. Now, LA Moon is, of course, as you know, she's quite often in the office here, but she's the one that sticks around. Okay. She's the one that sticks around in order to make sure that things run smoothly in here when she's available. And she certainly keeps a close eye on my own physical health. In a manner of speaking, Phil's going maneuverability like an athlete. Kind of. Okay. But we're talking mental gymnastics. Okay. And with that, with it being mental gymnastics, Phil can follow how I'm thinking. Okay. And he is literally it's a difficult thing to try and track. But with that in mind, I took my entire office, straightened it out. From the entire width I've got here, the 10 feet of flat deck that I've got is clear of clutter. My unit, my shelving unit here, along with my art supplies, you see me paint. I'm not going to be doing that right now because I've got some other things I'm looking at. Today, it's more of a thinking process. So I've had to look at things and go, okay, how am I going to make this happen? Now, you can see my desk my dresser top here has to be finished clearing. Okay. But I cleared all this stuff off. I've got, now, you guys may use, oh, they absolutely do, Joe. And, this is why sometimes at night we end up canceling at the last minute. If my system isn't working, or if they have something to deal with, right, then the simple fact of the matter is, and something I'm going to work on, the simple fact is, if one of us has a problem, and remember, family first, then work. And bear in mind, your education is work. Okay. Then we take a look at the rest of it. Okay. So because this is free, okay, because a day in the office and positive perceptions, which comes on later tonight, quite literally tonight at 9 p.m. I'll be back on with positive perceptions. Because these are free, they are where we are going to be. That's why I give everything that I do for free. However, every book I discuss, if I've written it, gets popped up onto the Buy Me a Coffee link. Okay. Now, this one right now, okay, this is Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Okay. It is the backbone of how I turned my life around. Okay. These books at this size are $20 Canadian in your pocket, in your place, virtually anywhere in the world, in your hand, signed. Now, if you're looking for a more immediate solution, all three of these, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams, Believe in Your Finances and Follow Your Dreams. Okay. These three are already available in PDF through the Buy Me a Coffee link. Okay. The one I am pushing to finish now is Believe in Your Success and Follow Your Dreams. That one I'm in the process of working on. It's the next one I'm pushing to get done. Again, it too will be $20 Canadian on virtually anywhere in the world, physically speaking. Okay. But it will also go to PDF form right away. Now, yeah, Philip goes, health issues are the worst part of cancel culture. Absolutely. And Lord knows I've had enough heart attacks. I don't need to worry about it anymore. Before some genius comes up with that idea. No, I'm not going to a doctor. I'm not on any doctor-prescribed medication. Okay. I am on, periodically, I do take an 81 milligram dose of aspirin in order to stop from wiping my heart out. There's a real toss-up around that one. But I got all this organized. Now, some of you will use an electronic calendar, and you're welcome to it. I still find the physical calendar works better for me because it sits right here on my desk so that I can find it. Okay. On it, I've got my topics and what have you laid out. I hope I do. Oh, yes. And while I'm thinking about it, looking at it, on my calendar, on this desktop, I do have the topics I'm looking at. Now, tonight, on Positive Perceptions at 9 o'clock tonight, we are going to be looking at specifically the religions and spirituality of the world. None in particular. Okay, what do we got? Oh, yeah, Phil's just giving us a diagram here. Shows a bunch of the line charts about heavy indicating heart arrhythmia, that sort of thing. And he punches all that up and goes, this can be dangerous. I got news for you. This is fatal. I know that because I've gone there. But here's the thing. I told my fiance and my kids, if I can I told them this in October. If I can get through 6 months of the next 6 months, I'll likely be here for 30 or 40 years. Well, guess what? I've only got 1 month left. And I came to the conclusion of something very important. Okay. I'm no longer playing games. Yes, I will keep doing this as long as I can. But I'm having to actually send a letter to some specific people saying, okay, and I've told people to do this. Lord knows why I didn't do it myself earlier. But if you've got something to tell somebody, and don't take my word for it. If you've got a question for somebody that you're not getting an answer from, literally write them a letter, a text, send it to them very simply, state what the question is. Okay, state what you're looking at. Do not worry about justifying your belief structure. We're talking about, here's the question. This is what I'm assuming. You have 3 days, and you'll notice 3 comes up a lot. Okay, so I'd always look at the calendar. Now, in my case, I'll be sending it out before midnight tonight. The ones I got to send today will go out tonight before midnight. Okay, as a matter of fact, as soon as I get done this stream, I'll be writing them out in final, so that when they go out, I will send the letters to these people and politely say, this is where we are. Oh, okay. Joe's going, well, since questions are welcomed and it hasn't happened to me yet, this is Joe Stewart's question, can aliens communicate to you through your smart TV? The short answer is yes. You got to, and so can, by the way, just to throw a wrench in things, so can those that have passed beyond. If you watch the original movie, The Poltergeist, not The Poltergeist, but Poltergeist, okay, I forget who all the actors were. It was 30, 40 years back. Look it up. But a smart TV, okay, up, and I will get to yours in half a second there, Philip. A smart TV, all you got to do is modify the electrical output to change the linguistics coming out of the TV. It's just electrical impulses. So yes, aliens can very definitively communicate through a smart TV. In all fairness, they can communicate through an old-fashioned tube TV. It's again simply electromagnetic modification. Okay, so yeah, it can be done. Now let's see. Philip goes, in my head, I finished your sentence as religions of the werewolves. Maybe because I listened to an old-time radio werewolf story yesterday. That, and because you've written werewolf stories. The answer to that is yes. Now, you know them as werewolves. Okay, the Ilarians are what people usually see. There's 2 factors on the werewolf. Now, the shape-changing human turns into werewolf, takes on a bizarre form with elongated skeletal structure. Great Hollywood stories. However, where the whole thing of lycanthropy, okay, and I don't know the whole history behind the mythological werewolf. I can tell you that due to the fact that werewolves have or correction, due to the fact that humans are mostly water, the lunar cycle will affect people's minds. Okay, and it is known that on full moons, and I'm going to clarify something here, very important for you. Oh, I forgot to look something else up. I don't know if I have time today. But this funny little book, okay, this book, The Ephemeris. And as a matter of fact, on the internet, you can apparently do it anyway. Okay, this contains the information to dictate whether or not you were born under a full moon or a new moon. The reality is the full moon does not affect everybody to the same intensity. But a full moon will cause people to go into an odd state, some people to go into an odd state. Not all of them by any means. Joe, that is literally the one I was thinking of. The horror show Poltergeist. Okay. Now, a lot, you know them as werewolves. And some people go absolutely nuts and complain and perform just terrible, terrible acts of violence because they go nuts. And they chalk it up to lunacy because of the lunar impact. Alarians are not shapeshifters, but they do look like they are Teriantropes. They look like bipedal wolves. Okay, and that's where you get that funny little form that looks like a human-shaped wolf. Okay, now, if you're born under a full moon or under a new moon, okay, that lunar cycle will, in all likelihood, affect your thinking. In my case, it's very complicated, but rest assured, I am working out the time it's going to take to do natal charts. Right now, I haven't had time. I gotta get things moving, and these are going to be expensive. I'll tell you, there is no way I will be doing natal charts for 25 or 50 bucks. Those are done by a computer program that frankly has a critical flaw. How about if I don't trip over those? Okay, but here's the thing. Got my office worked out. Now my brain can work. Figured out. Understand you can never change the past. That which you've done, you've already done. Best get over it and accept your culpability. I had to in mind. I made some absolutely ridiculous choices. I was spending, for instance, and this got me into a lot of trouble. Okay, I spent a staggering amount of money going out for dinner to eat. Yeah, Joe, that would be. Yeah, Joe goes, that would just be an awkward talk with my parents, the TV people. Yeah, it would be. Although it could be entertaining to watch. By the way, take your time with that one. But I discovered I made some really, really stupid moves. I've taken responsibility for them. Okay, and when I write this letter to the people involved, I will be laying out some of the stupid moves I made. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, their methods were a disaster. Yeah. Phil goes, I'd like to sew into what? Oh, that should be to do a ride along in the mind of a werewolf. Experience what they experience, just as long as I can get out fast, because I fear things may get quite disturbing. Oh, that, in all fairness, is all too real. Understand, Alarians are hunters. Okay, They are carnivores. And they are very much along the lines of, we will take they go into a feeding frenzy in a way. They're certainly not, shall we say, sophisticated consumers. Okay, like all wild animals. Okay, virtually all wild animals. They will go for the soft tissue first. Okay, and I'll tell you, growing up an empath, I know what it feels like to have that sort of thing happen. Ferret, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And Ferret, you are in with the bronze. And yes, ferrets are carnivores. Wonderful little buggers, but pardon my French, wonderful little creatures. We've actually got one that shows up here and once in a while. I think somebody's pet got away. But ferrets are also extremely loving little individuals. So I managed to get all this sorted out. My mind can now work. But I'm going to be laying out to the people I've got to send the letters to, this is what I did wrong. Now, if you go to Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous, they'll tell you part of the healing process is to admit to people in general, this is what I've done. Okay. Now, there are some things that will die with me. Everybody's got skeletons in their closet. I've got things I did when I was a child that I'm never going to reveal to anybody. You guys all have the same issue. But things I did that I really shouldn't have done was that when I was growing up, I watched too many families get torn apart by literally too much money. So I came to equate a lot of money with failed connections. This is a massive misnomer, and we'll get to that as we go along over the next little while. Okay, but I've now realized you've got to pay solid attention to your finances. Now, where is down here? Okay, not the birth of an empire. I've got to get to that too. But go to here. Just seeing if I did something a little odd. Probably didn't. I forget where I was going with that. But it literally boils down to figuring out what has to happen to make this world work. So this is what we're up to. And as a matter of fact, I'm doing that. Now, I am acknowledging what I did wrong, what I did that was ineffective. Most of that is so I make sure I don't make the mistake of repeating the process. Now, why am I telling you this? Hopefully you will learn from what I've done, okay, and not repeat the process. Okay, so just marking down another thing I'm doing because I'm not putting out Marches and April's, we are literally relaunching. But let me show you something here. Relaunching Positive Perspectives. Okay. Nope, not that one. This one. Okay. All things are connected, people. They really are. So, take a look at this, and we have Aries. Well, of course, March is Aries. Okay, that's when that happens in March. So, March is not. March is Pisces. In April, which is Aries' birth month, okay, we're starting over. And I'm relaunching it. I can now actually say, when I looked into the whole idea of a magazine as compared to a newsletter, the only viable difference I could find was that a magazine has an actual cover. Positive Perspectives now has an actual cover. Okay, so this is no longer a newsletter or a magazine, you call it. This is a magazine. Okay, we are relaunching in April, complete with the cover. It's time to take my life, my success, as a very important factor. What do we got here? Yeah, Philip goes, money seems better as a tool for reaching goals, turns toxic when money becomes the goal. Absolutely correct. And I will tell you this. Brain box. Oh, I gotta get that calculated. This is how quick my mind will shift gears. Okay. Calculate minimum living expense. Then we go finish cell. Okay. I heard it put to me once really well. Okay, that is, it was put to me this way. Money does not buy happiness, but it does afford you the opportunity to look for it in a lot more places. Okay, now I have spent money in stupid fashions when I didn't have it. I am now dug into a crater. But understand, the decisions you make are they will be affected by the decisions of other people. Okay, this is why effective immediately, once I get this calculation sorted out, I will know as soon as I break what I require to cover my basic expenses, as in rent, utilities, one credit card, okay, my insurance, and my food, okay, plus savings and entertainment. I've got to work out a basic there, but I'm talking a basic. Once I'm making that from all sources, and understand, I'm already on disability on a mild level. I'm going after I'm going after full disability because I cannot work in this world in a standard fashion. But once I hit that minimum, I think it's come down a little bit. It used to be $2,500. I do believe it's going to cost me less than that, but let's go with 25. Once I've got a stable income of 2,500, then the whole issue around this one advertising technique. Okay. Now, everybody knows in the world, okay, everybody knows this, I think, and that is that everybody, the best tools in existence are totally useless if nobody knows where to find them. It's time for me to step out of the shadows and make things visible. I'm not the best of the best. Okay, I'm not the most stubborn individual, but I do rank. Okay, but number one method of advertising is word of mouth. This little box, any address I get from people, I keep a hard copy of it here. Okay. So let's see a computer hacker hack this particular database. Good luck with that. Will I ever sell it to somebody? No, but let's be clear. If the government comes to me and says, here's the documentation, we have to have that database. Sorry, guys, I'm not going against the government. This is why there are certain things I won't talk about on air. But decades back, I laid out a method. I laid out an actual healing center. We are building it effective now, but we're starting with it on a decentralized basis. as in the net is what we're using. Okay, I don't work with the net well. I do 90% of my own thinking on paper and pen. Okay, now you take loose leaf paper, this funny stuff that some of you remember writing with. Okay, I've got a stack of it about that deep, and a whole pile more that is scrap. Okay, so I'm clearing out all of it. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to do that while I'm on here. But I'm going to pull every tool I've got to bring my life into order. Right now, I'm looking at my office. It's clear. Okay. This can go back where it belongs. Now, the reason I talk about tools working is because the ones I talk about are the ones I've actually put to use. This is why I say it's a day in the office, because I don't sit still all the time. You get to try and track where I am. I'll read that when I get over there. 26. No. Okay. So, what do I have? Some of this stuff I keep handy because I'm working with it. Okay. But the methods I use are designed to literally clarify things. Now, this particular binder, this one should be, yeah. Okay. This, ironically enough, this is my gaming binder. Okay. For Dungeons and Dragons, for one of the campaigns that I'm playing in. But I've decided, and it was pointed out to me a long time ago, that I use this to design my life. Not to escape reality, but to orchestrate it. Here we go. Joe goes, I don't have much entertainment in my life nowadays. I don't go out to eat at restaurants and with family. Well, that's a lot of people. I basically watch movies at home, dream journal, and journaling. Absolutely agree with you. That's pretty much where mine is. Most of my socializing is literally done around a gaming table. Okay. And I will tell you, I never developed a like for cooking. But I have reached an interesting point, and this is what prompted the idea of writing these people the letter. I made decisions based on what I was frankly lied to about. Okay. Net result, I've got a disaster on my hands. Now, what is this? Oh. This is the other gaming binder I've got for the second campaign. Now, the neat thing is, with the one I play on Thursday, and when I play the solo campaign I'm running in, okay, I do what I'm doing to lay out how I'm dealing with things. Oh yeah, and Joe's just added, and my personal favorite, the paranormal. Yeah, and I mean you got a first-hand view of it with that cemetery of yours out back. I remember going into a cemetery years ago. People tell me the cemeteries are boring. I'll tell you, they're more active than half the people I know. But that's those two binders. They stay put. Now, what is this one? Oh. This one's got to be poems. Yep. This is handwritten poems. I gotta make sure they're all on digital. And then they just get stored away. So we hang on to that. This is what I mean by what my brain will do. Now, what is in this particular binder? That's digital printouts of said poems. So, I don't need to go into these on a regular basis. I do have to double check them before I file them away. So they'll sit here for now. And then I've got these two binders left. Now, this one, now I don't need to keep these. This binder here is my binder on hard copy stuff I've worked on for Posiper. But I'm getting rid of all the old hand scrawled documents. Okay, so these particular binders have a specific purpose. Okay, now the neat thing here is this. Okay, I've got all this worked out. Now, I made some stupid moves. But I mentioned this to you guys before. One of the biggest sets of letters I've got to send out happened to have to do with the estate I was told was coming. Well, I'm about to call the people involved via letter and go, this is what I know. This is what you've done. This is what you said. Now, this is going to change effective immediately, or I will react accordingly. And I've got a number of things I will be asking. So I'm not going to go into it in detail because they get done as soon as I get done here. One of the biggest things you got to remember when it comes to being successful in your own world, okay, is you've got to decide what success is to you. Okay, that is kind of a critical issue, if not the most critical. So as I'm going along here, as you can tell, I'm putting things back in specific places. This is because the key to success, or one of the critical keys to success, is literally making certain that you keep your functional area clear. It's the same as with your brain. If you're dwelling too much on a problem, it will cause complications. Now let us just hit refresh here and see what pops. Hit refresh and see what shows up, how many we've got in the room that I can see. Now, I am no tech guru by any functional means. Yeah. Now, I will tell you, the more people that know that I'm here, okay, the more people I can get to, maybe, just maybe, we can turn this world around. We're not waiting anymore for so-called leaders, for so-called spiritual guides that are telling you to stay fearful. Okay, I bill myself as a spiritual guide, but understand, the tools I'm offering, I'm putting to use. Okay, this is why in this healing center that I'm building, okay, it's starting decentralized. Absolutely it is. But I'm going to be looking into what is required in the way of charity. I'm actually, when I go and get my income tax done this year, I'm going to talk to the accountant, to the income tax accountant, and find out how I can go about implementing it and what I've got to do to legally make it possible. And here's the catch to it. I'm going to be donating stuff to charity. I'm going to be tracking it. But here's the quality of charity to me. Okay, I talked to a really nice chap working for a charity just a couple of days ago. And according to him, they've got a brilliant little idea, a brilliant little charity. But here's where it goes sideways. And I'm not telling you what the charity is for two reasons. One, I don't recall the name. Much more importantly, I don't use names. Okay, so here's the kicker. The charity. Now, you give $100 to charity. Okay, you give $100 to charity, and here's what happens. A massive amount of that money, okay, the massive majority of it, these guys were good. Okay, from the standpoint, according to him, 33% of that $100 will go to the charity. But that other 66, the other 66% is going to the administration costs of running the charity. I will never sign to a nonprofit organization. What I do for free is this. But here's the thing. I am going to be setting up an account in my, like, on paper. I'm not going to be bothering with this idea of getting a whole bunch of other things sorted around. Okay. Actually, I might. But I'm allowed to do with my money what I will. Okay, but when I'm talking about giving to charity, if I ever get an actual charitable foundation off the ground, 100% of the charity money, of money that people turn over to me, will go to the charity. Now, here's the kicker, and I'm going to lay all this out, and you guys can decide what you will. Okay, I'm not about to lie to anybody to make you feel better. Okay, it's just not one of those things that interests me. Now, what is going on up here? Oh. I will have to get back to him. And I will do that probably tonight, but that depends on how things go. Just trying to keep on top of things. When I put this charitable foundation together, here's the kicker. If somebody gives me 100 and says, put it towards a charity, and look for it. As a matter of fact, what I'm doing here, funny little list method. This is the description of this method is laid out in detail in Believe in Your Success and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, understand that particular book originally was going to be titled The 4 P's of Success. And in the book, you'll find out why. Well, literally, it's because of the 4 P's. Purpose, plan, persistence, and patience. The 4 P's of success are the backbone of what I'm writing there. I was going to write something down, forgot what it was. Okay, not going to worry about it for the moment. But, oh, that's what it was going to be. Good memory, just short. Here we are. Now, when I put this charitable foundation together, or the charitable aspect of Inner Voice Enterprises, you can bet your bottom dollar I will track what comes in and go, okay, you said you're putting $100 into the charity. No problem. Watch for the description of it because it'll come out in April's edition. All of that money will 100% of whatever gets donated will go to those charities. Okay. The administration cost of operating it will be handled entirely by Inner Voice Enterprises. Not one penny will come from the charitable donations to go to Inner Voice. This is why I've got to wait to make sure I've got everything moving right. Now, a couple of other things, and here I am, and I'm only 61. Now, there is a chap, what do we got here? Oh, thank you very much, there, Joe. I really do appreciate the compliment. I've got to be careful because YouTube has some stipulations on their end. Their world, their business, they get to lay down the ground rules. Okay, this is why I tell people, Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. This is why I tell people, and I gotta go double check that that, I am not the most socially adept individual. Where are we? There. I gotta check something here. Okay, we go way back up to the top here, and we have Joe in with the gold. Philip Blair has come in with silver. Then we scroll down and we come up with who is next. Joe, Philip Blair, come down. Really? And then we had Ferret comes in with the bronze. And then scroll down a little further. And we have just now, Christine. You have come in with honorable mention. Now, the funny thing is, in today's world, everybody gets a gold for participating. Everybody gets paid the same. In my world, this doesn't work. Okay, which is why I stop at honorable mention. First 4 people through the room. I'd love to be able to say, hey, first person through the door, I'm going to end up turning over and giving you a prize. Got news for you. Doubt that'll happen anytime soon. I've got to be making some solid cash at that point. But now I've been on for an hour. This is actually going not bad. Well, I spoke too soon. Bottom problem. I'll be right back. I'm just grabbing my coffee. Okay, that wasn't too difficult now, was it? So, when I look at the changes I'm making, okay, I have people that I made, and I swear I made, way too much many times, just not on air. I made the mistake of trusting people that are so-called professionals. They came in and said, look, you give us X number of dollars, we'll bring your visibility up. Well, that was bald-faced lying, and they were bald-faced liars. Actually, in all fairness, I don't know if they were bald-faced. They may well have had beards. And most of the ones that had beards were probably male. But here's the thing. I was told this. I spent thousands on advertising companies and publishing companies that told me they would help with my visibility. And there's no nice way to put it, they lied. Okay, I don't care how big the company was. Not a one of them generated any inquiry, never mind a sale, until I connected with Buy Me a Coffee. Okay, and yeah, I will quite readily tell you, the Buy Me a Coffee, I don't know how Storm did it. Okay, Storm got me set up on buymeacoffee.com. Cost nothing to set it up. Nothing, at least if everything he said was accurate. And let's face it, the guy doesn't lie. Don't know if he knows how to lie. But he told me it cost nothing to set it up, cost nothing to maintain it. All I've been paying is approximately 10% or less of the actual sales I make. That's it. Okay, so now this is pretty pathetic. I think I've had it for almost 2 years now, something like that. But I cashed out what I had there, and I made more through Buy Me a Coffee than all of the other advertising methods combined. Okay, I'm not great at marketing yet. I'm learning how. Yeah, Phil goes, beard-faced lies are bad too. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is why I look at it going, You ask me a question, I'll be honest. I may not always be right, but I will be honest. And the one thing that cost me a friendship at one point. Okay, they made the mistake of telling me my opinion was wrong. Well, there is no way anybody in existence can have an opinion that is wrong. Their facts may be misguided, their conclusions may be a little skewed, but your opinion will be real. Now, in this chat room and in positive perceptions, I don't tolerate a lot of things. Okay, this has to be a safe place for everyone. Okay, now, it isn't for everyone, it's for virtually everyone. Bullies, I won't tolerate. Okay, and it's just that simple. Now, this particular book, as you can see, I've got that thing there. Okay. I think this is just notes and what have you that I'm writing. But this is it's one of the books I found around. So I use it for the active gaming. Just so I don't have to bring the big binders up front all the time. Now, I'm very much a dinosaur. Okay. And because of that, a lot of my methods are backwoods. And Philip, that's the best way to put it. If the sign of a sound mind, in my opinion, okay, I'm not talking clinically sound. I'm really not. Okay. But if you're willing to change your opinion based on the available information, that's not a sign that you were wrong before. Pointing fact, years ago I was on a radio station. I ran my own radio show where I had guests on the whole 9 yards. Okay, somebody else set all that up. Again, tech is not something I'm real comfortable with yet. But I brought a well-placed member of the Roman Catholic Church onto my show side by side with a well-placed member of the Church of Satan. Okay, within an hour, I had them agreeing with each other. I had them getting along. Okay, I had another instance a while back. I was talking to a person, and literally, now in my case, I had some misconceptions about the Satanic Church. With the information the guy sent me, I found out something. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Okay. I believe the same as most of you that the Church of Satan was a real heinous little problem. Okay. And here's the kicker to it. When I had these guys on the air, okay, I was sent a document by the one from the Church of Satan. Again, I've still got it to this day. But if you take a look at their governing principles and compare them to the Catholic Church, they are almost identical. So on air, I did apologize to him and told him no problem. My apologies, I didn't know. Now I know better. So now I won't stand by when somebody says, "Oh, it's an evil path." It is not. Okay, it's almost identical, with the one glaring difference that the Church of Satan believes in magic and believes that if you're going to use magic, acknowledge you're using it. Do not lie about the magic, or you lose everything you got through it. So, when you take a look at that, now that was on my end. I had another instance where I was talking to a Jewish lady, and I convinced her via actual observational quantifiable facts that the Jewish community celebrates Christmas. Now, I know some of the people that are Jewish are going to argue and go, "No, we don't." Talk to me directly. I'll lay it out for you. Okay. Absolutely. If you happen to be Jewish and you're looking at it going, no, we don't. Talk to me directly, and I will tell you directly why I say that. This is my opinion. Same as everything that comes out of my mouth is my opinion. Okay? And yeah, I'm going to upset people. There's no doubt there. You wait till you see what comes next. But I've got all this worked out here, and I'm going to be laying it out to some people in specific and going, okay, here's what I know, here's what I've surmised. If you've got something to change my opinion on this, here's what I require. You got 3 days, period, which means in this case, I'll have it out by midnight tonight. So by midnight on the 3rd, I'll have my answer. In this way, I'm not left questioning what they're thinking, because I'm telling them, you answer, you get your say. You don't answer, your say is what I'm giving you. Okay? And then it's just a case of I will behave accordingly. Because the reality of it is, I'm no longer willing to put myself or the people around me through the stress of misinformation. Now, this neat little book, as you can tell, little bit the worse for wear. Of course, we got to remember, this particular book, wonder if I've actually got a copyright date on it. I don't know if I do. Yep. This particular book was written in 89. Okay, so we're talking a quarter of a century old. And it's been being used twice a week minimum since then. Might explain why it's a little worn. So that information goes there. Now, the other thing we got to look at, I'm laying out things, well, where do we go? Joe goes, all I know is when you're asleep during the night and the day is over with and you sleep, your brain goes into a different dimension. That's why you dream very strange dreams. Well, I won't argue with your belief. I really won't. But I will tell you, in this world, in my experience, everything that you pick up, everything you think, everything that you can quantify is from the third dimension. A couple of things you may not be. Now, your brain does go into a different state, and it does access your hidden memories. Sometimes it literally pulls the information, if you will, subconsciously from the Akashic records. Okay? And when it does, it brings back really odd memories. Sometimes your brain runs through things. You know, some Operation Shutdown. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Sometimes your brain is simply processing it in the day or processing a past event in a way it can. It's a way of releasing stuff. This is why I recommend against lucid dreaming. In other words, controlling your dreams. Okay. Sometimes you've been working on a problem and your mind just keeps working on it because your brain doesn't shut off. Okay. It's just the conscious link goes off. It's kind of like taking a car and shifting it into neutral. The engine keeps running. It keeps doing its thing. Okay. But the fact you shut it and put it in neutral, which is what sleep is, doesn't stop the car from operating. Same as when you put your computer to sleep. You know, you just simply, when you put it to sleep or when you just simply stop utilizing it, the computer keeps processing. Okay. There we go. Now I'm just going back a bit here. Philip has just gone, when I find the best information I can find, when I find that the best information I can find contradicts with what seem to be the popular opinions, I'm cautious about sharing these findings. Absolutely, Philip. I have been an outsider amongst outsiders, or an outcast amongst outcasts, virtually all my life. Okay, the reason for that is I never learned the filter thing. That fine little filter that most people have that goes, oh, you shouldn't say that. Mine's a little slow. Okay, it comes along and goes, I don't think you should have put that way. Also known as oops. So yeah, I have a tendency of putting my foot in my mouth quite regularly. And yeah, Operation. Most of the books that I've got my I've got my money out of. This particular Bible that I'm getting through it, finally, you can tell by the glare on it now, I had to put packing tape over it to protect the binding. But again, this particular Bible, I'm just looking for when it is. It was the Bible I grew up with, by the way. This one was written in 1952, meaning we're looking at 75 years, almost. Okay, so again, it's paid its dues, as it were. And just scanning down. Yeah, I've yet to do my journal entry for today. I tried this morning and just couldn't get anything to come, so I walked away from it. Yeah, that it is. The oldest book I've got, and I can't show it to you right now. I actually stumbled across an old book. And yeah, I can show you some of those on a different day, probably on Monday. I've got other antique books. Okay. Now, I'm not an antique book collector. But the reality is, when I have something, I take care of it as best I can. This is why this calculator, okay, you buy a calculator today, you get 3-4 years out of it, and the poor thing tanks on you. This one I bought in 1979. It's a solar powered calculator. I've never had a problem with it. Okay, it does come with a case. Okay, but even with calculators and computers around, I've got this one. This is the one I turn to. Okay, give you an idea. Now, this one is a calculator that I bought in 79. This is a calculator I'm working on remembering how to deal with. And when my fiance comes up in May, okay, I'm going to get her to help me remind me how to work with this, so I can become comfortable with, you got it, an abacus. Okay, pretty much the second oldest calculator I know of. The oldest one happens to be the brain. Okay, so these are things that are going on. Now, I've made some really bad purchases over the years. I know this. I sunk money into things, paid for them ahead of time, and almost without exception got shorted on what I'd been promised. Okay, either I was too patient letting people go, oh, it's just taking a little time, I'll wait for it. That has cost me a fortune. Okay, an absolute unmitigated fortune. Therefore, when I talk about doing things, I sent one out. Where the heck did that one go? I don't remember. Yeah, I just that the abacus issue was kind of funny. I was running a D&D game one day, and an Aftermath game one day. Okay, Aftermath is a role-playing game from back in the 80s, post-apocalyptic. And one of the players stumbled across what I told them was an ancient calculator. So The guy turns around, he never thought about it. He goes, okay, I'm breaking into the calculator. Or I told him he came across an ancient computer. And he goes, okay, I'm breaking into the computer. Right? I said, great, no problem. Make your roll. He made his roll. I said, good. You got metal rods, wood chips, and beads all over the place. And he looks at me and goes, you didn't. I said, yeah, I did. Okay. An abacus is an old computer. Best I can tell you, operation, is, as far as I recall, it might have been $20. Okay. But I've never had to change it. Granted, it doesn't have a digital display. Well, aside from the one line of numbers. And yes, the thing's got all kinds of buttons I've never used. Of course, in all fairness, I forget what they were for. So now what I'm looking at is this. I'm setting things in motion and going, okay, here's the plans. I will be posting them. I'll be talking about the plans as they come into play on a day in the office. I will be posting them in Positive Perspectives, which is my that is a free magazine. And when I talk about free, I don't mean, oh, by the way, it's free right now, and 10 years down the road, now you got to pay for it. Okay. It's like on my with any website that I do get around to working with. Okay. If I'm making it available, I won't deal with memberships. I've thought about it, but I cannot see the point in saying, hey, you want information that everybody gets, right, that I'm quite willing to disseminate. Okay. I'm not going to worry about you having to pay for it. The books, the physical books, the writings, absolutely I'm charging. Okay. Absolutely I'm charging. Okay. And I do have on that link, buy me a coffee, and thank you very much for that, operation. Really appreciate it. We're doing a complete revamp. You'll love the one. I'm sure you'll love the one coming in April, because we now actually have a cover on it. Okay. And that's the only difference I've personally been able to discern between a newsletter and a magazine, is the magazine has a cover. Now, here's a neat little kicker to it. If you look, believe in yourself and follow your dreams, okay? If you look at it on the back, you see this little bit of a ghost here, okay? This is a lighthouse. Now, many people will say, well, you photoshopped that or what have you. No, actually what I did, and this is actually the magazine cover. What I actually did was I took this funny little thing here is that lighthouse. Okay, we can safely say this is my lighthouse, like this is my doing. Okay, they're going to have a hard time saying that picture was taken from anywhere. I've got the physical item. So I decided to make this the main cover of Positive Perspectives. I figure I've got it, what the heck. A little hard to claim it came from somebody else. Okay, so that's where the difference comes there. Oh, that reminds me. Do I have this? Gotta get through all that today. Where is that? See, I keep putting my glasses back on because I cannot see that much on the. Thank you very much for the support there, operation. You know, my eyes work great for short range now, but I still require them for long range, for looking at the digital or for driving. So I haven't totally repaired my eyes yet, but I'm working on it. Yeah, I got my work cut out for me tonight. But with that in mind, okay, I've got a very simple outlook. I've got things that have to be changed. Okay. And with those changes are coming a much more unified approach to where Inner Voice is going. No, Joe, unfortunately, you won't be getting March. You know, I ran into all kinds of complications with the problem I went through with the stress over the estate I was told was coming. I'm about to call them on that. Okay, but that stress shut down my ability to write, my ability to put a lot of things together. I went into again a nasty sort of depression cycle where my son literally tore a strip off me because I warned him. I said, "Look, the way things are going, you won't have to worry about me much longer because I ain't gonna be here. I'm not gonna survive another major heart attack." Okay, my youngest son come to me now. Understand, my youngest son lives with me, as does my eldest. But my youngest one come to me and goes, "Dad, knock it off." And he up one side of me and down the other, metaphorically, right? Telling me exactly what I was doing and how he felt about it. So this is what prompted my looking at the letters I've got to write. I'm no longer interested in living on this emotional roller coaster. So absolutely, I've had my downswings. But February and March didn't go out, and March won't be coming out. But I am halfway through April, through writing it, and I haven't even gotten into the first of April. So it'll be going out, this one. And, I keep telling people I'm going to get that out ASAP. Well, this is one of the biggest changes and one of the reasons I'm going down this road right now. This is the way that my office is going to be running. Okay, I've got all that in order. The reality is that stress around the so-called estate and the fact that it's been dealt with the way it was, okay, it didn't work out well for me. Okay. And I've lost literally. And I'm going to be telling these people this. Just to give you an idea of what this mess created. Okay. The way I was told the estate was going to be coming, as a matter of fact, when I was told the estate was going to be coming, I was given a time frame of 3 to 4 months. Okay. It kept getting delayed. I'm not going to go into the whole song and dance of it. But I then got information. Oh, I'm going to release it when you do this. I'm not being controlled by anybody anymore. I will follow the law. Okay, and I will absolutely follow karmic law, which is a really neat little issue. Okay, so when I say I won't be controlled, you can ask what you will. I'll give you an honest answer. Absolutely, I will. But if you want me to lie to you to make you feel better, you better warn me ahead. Because I'm not going to do it anyway. But at least I'll know you want it. I listened to what my son said, and this is why it's like, okay, this letter gets sent. And after that, if I don't get the answers I'm looking for, I shut down. The tail end of the letter will boil down to, if I don't get an answer by midnight on March 3rd, 2025, I will take that as as it being incorrect in my assessment, and I will react accordingly. Now, here's the kicker. The people I'm sending this letter to, if I have to react accordingly, all uploaded, all updated information is going to be shut down. Period. I won't be doing it. I was talking to a chap one day, and he goes, never explain yourself to anybody. Now, I'm going to paraphrase because I had to modify it from what he did. Okay, but I looked at him and I said, why not? He goes, number one, your friends don't require an explanation. Your enemies, and I adjusted that to everyone else, doesn't deserve one. Okay, I will do what I have to within the law. Remember that thing about karmic law number 3, energy out, energy in. If I desire people to follow my laws, then it only stands to reason that I follow theirs, where applicable. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. But yeah, in all fairness, operation, I'm glad he was there to talk to me the way he did. It was funny because he woke me up earlier in the day, and he has his own issues, but he came down, checked, made sure that he didn't wake me up with the blowout he had, and then we talked about what went on. So we've got a really good open communication. Okay, and this is why I'm doing my best to pass this on to you guys. Okay, very, very important. You desire your life to get better. You've got to be the one to get off your tail feathers and make it happen. All the prayers, all the plans, all the lists and positive thinking in the world are absolutely useless if you don't get off your tail. Okay. Now, I have a tendency of getting a little carried away. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop. I've actually got 11 things on the list right now. Most of them, literally the last 6, have been added since I went online. Since I went live today. But I will be back tonight. Where are we? Oh, just 6:01. Okay. I will come back on tonight at 9 o'clock from 9 to 10 with positive perceptions. Okay. And again, in there, absolutely ask your questions. The door is open here. This is what I do for free. Okay. This is part of where my charitable time goes. Okay. I'm a firm believer that those that have the ability to protect people, to guide people, it is their responsibility, therefore my responsibility, to do what I can to make that happen. But I cannot make you make the changes necessary. Okay, what do I got here? Don't need that line. I'll have to deal with that. I've got a number of things on the go, and I am doing my best. It really does, Philip. I'm a firm believer, okay, that 90 to 95% of the population are decent people, willing to work with each other. Many don't know how to work with each other because of what they've been through. Okay, you've never had the opportunity. This is what I call true ignorance. Okay, stupidity is when you know better and you do it anyway. Okay, so I was stupid in how I dug myself into the financial pit I'm in. But it was true ignorance of the fact that companies that claimed to be above board and people that claimed to be honest. And then this applies, when I say across the board, I've lost faith in customers, in companies, in friendships. I've been told literally, the last thing I heard from one friend in particular, I thought we had a real good connection. I told them point blank, it felt like they were shutting me out. Their last comment was I'm not shutting you out. I appreciate your support, which is a great thing to say. That was a year ago, I think in May. I haven't heard from them since. Now, I don't know about you, but if you don't reach out and talk to people or at least respond to them, you're shutting them out or you're avoiding them. Now, I've been avoiding many complications. One of the biggest ones is a credit card that, thanks to the people that lied to me about what they were going to do and how they were going to help, they have cost me that because I trusted them, trusted their guidance. I talk about being honest. I talk about you've got to trust certain things you do. Get this. My fiance, my two boys, Storm, LA. I've got a friend up north, okay, that I absolutely will trust. Okay. And she's about as locked on the logic side of things as possible. Well, bearing in mind I'm not. This is kind of a necessary connection. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Glad you could join us. And there was a gentleman that is listed he's actually credited in Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams to being the reason I managed to learn to talk to anybody. Okay. All of these things are the reality behind it. I keep getting told by people, oh, you can't paint everybody with the same paintbrush. I'm lazy. I paint them with a paint bucket. Okay. The reality for me is this. I will give people the benefit of the doubt. Absolutely, I will. But people ask me, well, don't you trust me? They don't ask that question because the odds are the answer is going to be no. Okay. Except for the 6 people I just listed. I think 6, maybe 7. Yeah. Philip, I can relate to that all too well. Philip goes, yep, my ignorance trips me up a lot. I scold myself a lot in my head. I'm kind of a jerk to me a lot. It's because I get frustrated, so I take it out on me with simply endless grumpy commentary at me. I do the same thing. Okay. And the reality of it is I'm no longer willing, when my son brought to my attention how bad it had gotten, how bad it had become. It's pretty bad when you get into these moods. And I've literally had to tell a staggering number of people, look, I'm not suicidal, but I'm killing time now until I die. Okay, well, get this. That's no longer the case. There were 3 reasons that I was pushing myself to maintain a grip on life. And they're not basically it boils down to, never mind, basically, my eldest son, my youngest son, and my fiance. The rest of it, I've been told, I've been asked by a number of people, don't shut the stream down because you're helping. Well, I'll tell you, it is not immune from being shut down. But the reality is, I'm now looking at it from a different angle. Thanks very much to my son. Okay, there is a message. If I don't get it out to you people, it dies when I do. Okay, and this is why I say, talk to the people you know, your friends, co-workers, strangers, enemies, don't care. Word of mouth advertising is the best option we've got. Okay. Now, where am I here? Oh, I gotta do that. Refresh. I just want to see if things have kind of changed. See how many people we've actually got in the room at this point. I don't know how Storm does it, so I just do it this way. Okay. Now, I don't expect a whole lot of people to wander in and stay here because the day in the office is simply getting me organized. Yep. There we are. Oh, did that already. It's simply a way of making certain that I get a static pattern put together so that I can see and so I can talk about doing this is the way to success. Okay. Now, yes, I am still financially a disaster. Okay. But, okay, now here's the thing. The biggest mistake my parents made when I was growing up was kind of an odd one, in my opinion. Yeah. Philip goes, I'm not suicidal either. Way too stubborn for that. A lot of family lived to the into their 90s. My grandma's cousin, he's over 100 and still working on his life's work of campaigning against nuclear war. You know, and I don't blame him at all there, Philip. The reality is nuclear power is necessary. Okay. War is overrated. It's never brought peace. It has never promoted technological advancement. The silly part is I've talked to a lot of people that went through the wars. Okay. And ask yourself this: is it easier to concentrate on helping somebody when you've got bombs and explosions and food shortages going on all over the place, or when everything's running smoothly? Will Rider, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The way I look at it is this. And Mother Teresa put it very nicely about 20, 25 years ago, I think. Okay. She said, don't bother inviting me to a war rally, to an anti-war rally. I'll never be seen there. However, you decide to put together a peace rally, I'll show up with bells on if at all possible. Okay. I'm the same way. I understand war happens. I understand that. But with 90 to 95% of the population being decent individuals, this absolutely bizarre concept that 90 to 95% of the stuff that gets posted is negative and derogatory. Things like, oh, here's pictures that these people wouldn't like you to see. Why, if they wouldn't like you to see them, are you, number one, posting them, and number two, looking at them? Okay. Now, the reality of it is this. Okay. Oh, heads up to those of you that do have me on Skype. I caught wind, and this is simply at this point a rumor, a heads up. Rumor has it Skype may be being terminated. If it is, find a different way to get a hold of me. If Skype is the only way you know of to reach me, find a new way. What do I got here? Yeah, Wu goes, leave the world behind. The world is a stage. William Shakespeare put it that way. At least that's who I heard it from. Was William Shakespeare said, the world is a stage. The world is a stage. Everybody plays their part. Yeah, Philip goes, yep. Energy good, war bad. You'd think this would be obvious. I think driving down the wrong side of a three-lane highway is obviously a bad option. But I know somebody personally that did that and got during their practical and got their license. I have no idea the mechanics behind it, Philip. I do know that I'm still on Facebook, and there's a lot of people that hate Facebook. I don't care. Facebook is doing its thing for me. Okay. And bearing in mind, well, let's face it, I still prefer this calculator. Okay. I do prefer pen and paper when I'm writing, much easier. But my brain has really taken a tank since my stroke. So the calculator is kind of necessary sometimes. I don't mind using tools. Okay. I hate dealing with tools, but those are people I don't like. So when I'm looking at this world, I'm going, okay, how do I make this all happen? So I've got a whole layout coming up. And of course, on Monday, yeah, Philip goes, I don't hate Facebook, but I don't use it much because I'm not good at Facebooking. Rest assured, Tech and I, this is my technology. This and or working on putting books together. Well, to be honest with you, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. It's going, morning, Keith. Thoughts on the apparently failed Ukrainian precious metals deal? Non-existent. Didn't know they had a deal in the works. Didn't know it was failed. Okay. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news itself in 30 years. Okay. So I have no idea what's going on with that. I will tell you this. If people would turn to the idea of helping each other, then you wouldn't have to worry about greed-based collapse. Greed-based, fear-based, the whole 9 yards. Okay. The one thing we got, and just to give you an idea there, Philip goes, also, I don't like all the ads. Nice part about ads is you can ignore them. And I do. I'll look, people send me an email. It's like, here, we've got this sale on. Don't care. Come check out this new product. Don't care. If the product I'm working with is working, I won't bother changing. And this is why I tell people, when I look at these booklets, I'm not the best writer on the planet. I'm certainly not the most technologically advanced. But when I was in grade 11, I took a course with a business teacher in grade 11. He had a simple rule: keep it simple, stupid. Okay, I prefer keep it simple, silly. So these are designed to be very easy to work with. Okay, very easy to implement. But they're not the only tools. However, if you're still looking for one, I have been told that those self-help ones have helped turn a lot of things around. J.R.R. Tolkien, the first author I ever picked up a book from that I found I didn't desire to put it down. Okay. When I first got it, and I've got that book in my possession. Okay. That's just the reality of it. Come to think of it, I may not be able to get it out by midnight. Tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. It may not happen until the 4th, but the point being, the letters I was talking about are a critical problem. They're a critical step in my resetting everything. This is why I'm taking files, whether they're physical or electronic, and getting rid of them. Okay. And yeah, Philip has just written in here. It's mine. I tell you, my own. My precious. Yes, my precious. Gollum. Written by J.R.R. Tolkien. See, I get a kick out of it. You talk to yourself, Joe. I get into a three-way argument with myself. And it's always entertaining trying to figure out who's going to win. But the reality is, if we don't start promoting, and when I say we, okay, understand I'm asking you guys all for your assistance, but I'm referring to Inner Voice Enterprises and my advisory council. Okay, my board of advisors. We are going to have to start promoting what we already have, the different aspects of what we are doing, because the so-called leaders in this world are not doing a good job of it. In case you hadn't noticed, we are being bombarded with talks about World War III, food shortages, oil shortages, land shortages, some genius down in the States came up with the brilliant conclusion that we're actually suffering from a gravity shortage. Now, I have no argument about saying the education system is in trouble. Okay, absolutely it is. So since it's in trouble, I'm looking at this and taking many of the old techniques I learned and through a day in the office and positive perceptions and positive perspectives, a threefold approach. Okay, in case you haven't noticed, I'm back to that threefold point. And this is how we're going to change the world. Now, people are either going to get on board, get out of the way, or this world is going to collapse. I'm not a doomsayer by any functional means. But if you see you're on a boat, on a river, in a boat, without paddles, and there's a waterfall ahead, if you don't do something, you're going over it. Yeah, Phil goes, I just finished the Da Vinci Code. Enjoyed the short chapters and looking up pictures of the places online. Wanted to keep reading, but all I had was the paperback. It sucked me in, figuratively speaking. I believe I used to have the Da Vinci Code. I don't know if I ever got around to reading it. Maybe it's I'm going to go check because I might still have it. It might be on my list of books to read. Nope. Somewhere along the way, it's either gone or it got misplaced. But I will tell you, I made this comment to you guys a while back. Okay, that I finally started reading the book Game of Thrones, the series. I got about 8 or 9 chapters into it, and I'm getting rid of it. I'm not going to finish reading it. And Philip goes, no, I read that one. Yeah, Joe, the one thing I will caution you, it's not a caution. Eventually, people do find each other. Okay, I ran into a couple years and years ago now. They've met when they were 90. Okay, by the time they were 92, they were married. Right. And I ended up having a long conversation with them about it. Neither one had ever dated for exactly that reason. They couldn't find somebody they could function with. But they did eventually find somebody. I'm not saying it'll take you till you're 90, but keep the door open. Okay. I had to find somebody in another country that I could finally settle with. And now we got all this fiasco going on amongst other things, but we are going to make it happen. Now, with this in mind, guys, I've been on here for almost 2 hours. I want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me tonight. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the great conversation. And hopefully things have come together. Okay, with that in mind, okay, I will be back. Well, I'll be back tonight on YouTube. Okay, at 9 p.m. tonight with Positive Perceptions. And then again, I'll be here on Monday night at 4:30 with A Day in the Office. Until then, guys, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.